Hello, good morning, good evening, and good night.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
And welcome to another video. So today is January 3rd, and it is the beginning of Winterween. And if you don't know what that is a readathon that's being hosted by Olivia Reads a Latte and Gabby Reads. And I'll have their videos linked below where they're announcing this readathon. So the readathon takes place between January 3rd and January 9th. So today is the first day, and we're getting started. I haven't participated in one of their readathons before because I always seem to miss it. But this year I'm really excited because I finally made it. Like, I saw the announcement video and I cleared the schedule and I'm making this video. We are participating in Winterween this year. So they have a couple of different prompts for it, which I am kind of molding them so that they fit me a little bit better. So there are 5 prompts and I'm gonna be double dipping in some of the books. So prompt number 1 is read a book in the dark or at night. I'm gonna be taking one of the books off of my TBR and I'm just gonna be reading it at night. All of these are physical books, so I'm not gonna be able to read them in the dark because I don't have a flashlight and I don't want to read off of the light of my phone because I'm not in high school anymore. It's been a long time since I've done that. Prompt number 2 is read a book with a winter setting. So I have Stephen King's Cycle of the Werewolf. This doesn't technically have a winter setting, but it kind of does. So for each of the chapters, it takes place in 1 month of the year. Obviously, 3 of these chapters are going to take place in the winter. I'm just kind of stretching the rules a little bit and pretending that the whole book takes place in the winter. So anyways, this is a very short Stephen King book. I'm not exactly sure what it's about, but it's about werewolves, obviously. Cycle of the Werewolf. And it has like some really cute pictures in it. I don't know if they're really cute, but they have some really cool pictures. I meant to read this in October, but I never got around to it because I was just really busy this October. So prompt number 3 is read a book with snow on the cover. This is another one I'm kind of stretching. So originally I was going to read 6 Crimson Cranes because for my, I believe this was Fairy Loot copy, it has snow on the cover. But I'm currently in the middle of reading The Kiss Quotient, which I got for Christmas. And it doesn't have snow on the cover, but it's a blue cover and snow is blue. I don't know, I'm in the middle of reading this and I'm really enjoying it and I don't want to just like put it down to read a different book, you know what I mean? So the plan is I'm going to finish reading The Kiss Quotient, and if I just kind of like breeze through this like I've been doing it and I can have more time in the week, then I will read this one and I'll use this one as my prompt satisfier. So let me just tell you what these 2 books are about real quick. So The Kiss Quotient is about this girl Stella who is on the autism spectrum and she has a lot of like social awkwardness, so she decides to hire an escort to kind of teach her the ways of spiciness. I believe this turns into a love story somehow, some way. I've read the first 50 or so pages of it so far and I'm really enjoying it. It's like way sweet and I didn't think it would be. I'm having a good time with this one, so I don't really want to put it down. I want to see how it goes. And so 6 Crimson Cranes is so we'll see how it goes. So prompt number 4 is read a novella. So this is a novella. So yeah, this fits my my winter setting and my novella. I'm kind of just double dipping here because I don't want to overwhelm myself with the amount of books I have. So the last prompt is read a book that gives you thrills and chills. So this one is also a novella. This is A Monster Calls. It's written by Patrick Ness and illustrated by Jim Kay. So there are illustrations in this. I found this at a used bookstore not too long ago and I was really excited about reading it. It just looks really cute. I don't know much about it, but like I'll just read you the back real quick. The monster showed up after midnight, as they do, but it isn't the monster Connor's been expecting. The one from the nightmares he's had nearly every night since his mother started her treatments. The one with the darkness and the wind and the screaming. This monster is something different, something ancient, something wild, and it wants the truth. So these 4-ish books are going to be my TBR for this Winterween. Most likely I'll just update you tomorrow or Wednesday. Okay, hi. So today is Wednesday the 5th. I haven't gotten too much reading done, honestly. So I got about halfway through Cycle of the Werewolf, and I was reading this last night at night, which fits one of the prompts. I think I'm gonna finish this either tonight or tomorrow night. It's a really quick read, and it doesn't take too much brain power to read it, honestly. So this is broken into 12 chapters, but each chapter is a month in the year. So that's also how I'm fitting into the winter setting category. And each chapter is really like 2 pages. So like this is the beginning of one chapter, turn the page, we get a picture, and this is the end of the chapter. So it's a very quick read. Honestly, I could probably have read this all in one go, probably in like an hour, honestly, maybe 2 hours. But I wanted to spread this out a little bit. So this should be finished probably tonight. I'm gonna try to finish this tonight. For the Kiss Quotient, I got to page 120, which is like chapter 13. And I'm really enjoying this so far. It's way sweeter than I thought it was gonna be. Like, just based off of the premise, you think it's gonna be like spicy scene after spicy scene, and it's really not like that. Like, there were a couple kind of spicy scenes in the beginning, but it's a lot more about building relationships and kind of being comfortable with who you are as a person. So Stella is on the autism spectrum, and this talks a lot about her day-to-day struggles. For example, she goes on a date to a club, and she doesn't want to tell the person she's with that she is autistic because she thinks that they're going to treat her differently. He doesn't know, and that's why they go to a club, and she very quickly gets overstimulated, and she doesn't really know how to explain to him how she got overstimulated, like why. So it's kind of just one of those things where he's kind of getting like a teeny bit suspicious, but he's kind of like, whatever, it's just a quirk. And it also talks about how the love interest is struggling with his own day-to-day issues. So he is a male escort, and he thinks that people only want him for the things that he can do for them, and he doesn't feel valued as a person himself. So a lot of the things that Stella does kind of make him surprised that she's interested in who he is as a person, especially because this is a very transactional relationship. The part of the story I'm in, she finds him in his regular day job by accident completely. He's a little bit like self-conscious about it because it's not a typical masculine day job, but Stella is fascinated with his work, and she tells him that she's impressed and she thinks that he's very good at his job, which just kind of like, you know, melts his heart. And we're getting to this part in their relationship where the lines of professionalism and personalism are getting a little bit blurred, and it's just sweet, and it's really enjoyable to read. Because I'm finishing this one today, I don't know how much of this book I'm going to get to read, but we'll see what happens. So today is Saturday the 8th, I think. There's only the rest of today and tomorrow in this Winterween Readathon. And it's about noonish, so there's still plenty of time for reading today. So let me just tell you where I am. So for the Cycle of the Werewolf, I ended up finishing this last night, and that ticks off 3 of the prompts. So I got read a book at night, read a novella, and read a book with a winter setting. I ended up giving this 3 stars. It doesn't really have much of a plot, but it's just like a fun little story to read. It's just about this small little town, and there's a werewolf that is killing somebody on each full moon, and then it's just about the town, mostly just one boy finding out who the werewolf is and eliminating the threat. Yesterday I also finished wrapping up all of these books. On the other side of the books I have like a very vague genre of what they are, but I turned them around because I wanted to be more of a mystery. I think the last day I updated was Wednesday, I can't remember exactly, but on Thursday or Friday I read a little bit more of The Kiss Quotient. I'm now on page 154. I really didn't read much of it. I'm just really enjoying the story and I'm not trying to rush through, but as it's halfway through Saturday, I have to start with the rushing if I'm going to finish this on time, especially because tomorrow is going to be a busier day for me, so I'm not going to have lots of time to just read all day long. I'm still really enjoying the story. More cute things are happening. I don't really want to tell you what's happening because the little bit that I've already told you I think is enough so that you know what the story is, but I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to give any spoilers. For A Monster Calls, I started reading this morning and I'm about halfway through. I'm on page 99 and there's a little bit over 200 pages in this, so I'm really close to halfway. This is so good so far. It's so good. I'm so glad that I picked it up. It's about this boy whose mother has cancer and he's dealing with that in many of different ways. There's him with his relationship with his mother as she's slowly getting sicker and sicker, his relationship with his grandmother, his father who doesn't live with him anymore, and the situation at school because people treat him differently and he no longer has any friends and even the bullies treat him differently. And the story starts off with a tree monster that comes to him at night and he's not scared of it at all, which the tree monster is kind of like shocked. He's like, why aren't you scared of me? And the boy's like, because I have scarier things to deal with than you, which is actually heartbreaking because he's only 13 years old. And the tree monster eventually ends up saying, I'm gonna tell you 3 stories and then you're gonna tell me a story and it's gonna be your truth. And he's like, doesn't really want to do that at all because before this tree monster he's been having this horrendous nightmare and he won't say what it is, but he feels really guilty for something, which we don't know what it is yet. It's basically implying that the tree wants to know what it is that he's done, what it is that he's having this nightmare about, and the tree's even calling it his truth. She's all the way on the top one now. Don't bite my tree, Chloe. Anyways, this is very, very enjoyable. It's written very well. I mean, it's got over 4 stars on Goodreads, so I'm not really that surprised. It's either like 4.3 or 4.6, I can't remember. Also, it says on here, it's soon to be a major motion picture, and this was published in 2011, so this movie has already come out, and I looked it up, it's actually on Netflix, and it actually has 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of unheard of. So I think once I finish this, maybe I will watch the movie tonight because I mean, I'm really enjoying it and I think that'd be a fun time. Oh, speaking of movies, last night I watched this movie, I believe it's called Prisoners or The Prisoner or something like that, and it's got Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman in it, and it was such a phenomenal movie. Like it's long, it's 2.5 hours, but it's a crime thriller and it was so good. So if you're into those types of movies, it's on Hulu. So plans for today, I'm going to finish this for sure. I'm going to try to make it to about 75% of this book so that I only have about 25% to finish tomorrow, and I should be able to finish all the prompts by the end of Sunday, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay, I wasn't going to do another update today. I was going to wait until Monday and do like a final update, but I just finished crying and I just finished reading this book, and I thought this was going to be a thriller. I thought it was going to be horror. I thought there was going to be monsters, and instead there was sadness, and I've never cried this much for a book before. So 5 stars, read this. I recommend it to everybody. Like, go out of your way, buy this on Amazon and read it. I need to like take a break from reading now. I'm really sad. Okay, hello. So today is Monday, and yesterday was the end of 2022 Winterween. This was like a really fun readathon to be a part of, and I'll get more into that later, but let me tell you about the books that I read. As you kind of saw from my last clip, I finished A Monster Calls, and I did end up watching the movie afterwards, and it was phenomenal. I really do think that many people should read this, and it doesn't really matter ages. I think anybody from as young as 13 to somebody as old as like 80 could read this book, because it deals with grief very delicately and very comforting. Do look up some trigger warnings though. I still think that a lot of people can enjoy this, and I think that this could be healing to some people. It's just a very, very great book, and I really hope I didn't spoil anything by kind of telling you about these themes that it talks about. Yeah, so I finished this one, and this filled the prompt of read a book that gives you thrills and chills, and so then I would only have one more prompt left. The only prompt that I didn't end up filling was read a book with snow on the cover. So for the kids quotient, I was kind of saying that blue is snow in this reality of this reading vlog. I didn't end up finishing it. I just didn't have time to do it this weekend. I got to page 244, which is about 80% of the way through the book, and I read enough of this where I think I'm gonna end up giving it 4 stars. I just really loved the characters, and I love the story, and it was very sweet, and it's just all around a great book. Like, it's a fun read. Yes, there are some spicy scenes, but like, it's a romance. What'd you expect? But yeah, because I didn't technically finish reading this book, I'm not going to count it as one of the prompts, so I only got 4 to 5 prompts, so I only got 80%. That's a B. That's good enough. So this readathon was very fun, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I'm really glad that I participated because I ended up reading A Monster Calls, which I wasn't going to read until like October or something, so I'm really glad that I got to read it now. It's such a great way to start off the new year. It was like a 5-star read. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I gave this 5 stars. Also, just thank you so much to Olivia Reads a Latte and Gabby Reads for hosting this Winterween. I really enjoyed it, and don't forget to check out their channels, and I'll have their introduction videos linked below. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sorry if this video ends up being too long. As of right now, I have like 45 minutes of video that I'm gonna try to condense down to like 18 minutes. I don't know if I'm successful. Sorry if I wasn't. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.